guys, welcome to another Tales of Middle-earth. I'm Adam, and today I have
Mike,
and we are going to be playing a 550 point match of domination. If you don't know the rules for domination, basically there's 5 objectives on the board. Each objective, if there's no enemies within it and you control it, so i.e. being within 3 inches of it, is worth 3 victory points. If it's contested, it's worth 1 victory point. Then, for each wound you cause on an enemy leader, you gain a victory point. And then, if you kill the enemy leader, you gain 3 instead. And then you gain 1 victory point if your opponent's force is broken and you're broken, or 3 if you're not broken and your opponent's force is broken. So that's a victory point countdown. So what are you using today?
I've got 10 Mirkwood Rangers. I've got Legolas here.
Yeah.
Nothing, just bare bones.
Yeah.
I've got a Restor here by himself. He's going to see if he can do some work on his own.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. And then I've got a bunch of Palace Guards, 7, with Thranduil.
Nice.
A couple got some Spear, and then the rest have Sword and Shield.
Elven Blade and Shield, awesome. And they're going to be going up against my Iron Hills. I know you've probably seen them a lot recently. They're still new, and again, it's the army that I am focusing on this year. And seeing as how it's only 2 months into this year, you know what I mean? They're still a good thing, and I'm just trying to get used to them, trying to really figure out what works and what doesn't. So basically, I'll go quickly over what I have. I have Dane leading 12 Iron Hill warriors with Spear and Shield. Then I have a captain with 6 Iron Hill warriors, Spear and Shield, and then the ballista with 4 crew. So just the base bare bone ballista. So that is it. So we'll show you the armies next, and we'll show you the board, and we'll get right into the match from there. So this here is Mike's 550 points. So he has Thranduil, 7 Palace Guards, 3 with Shield and Elven Blade, and then 4 with Spear and Elven Blade. Restor over there in his own warband. Legolas leading 10 Mirkwood Rangers, and Legolas is bare bones, so he doesn't have an elven cloak or anything else like that. So we'll come back with my deployment next. I said deployment, but really he's not deployed. This is just me going over the armies again. I'll come back with my army next. And this here is my Iron Hills army. I do get the army bonus, so I get a +1 to my reserve rolls and deployment rolls, which is really, really nice. I should say plus or -1 based off what I want to do. So there's 12, or Dane on board, leading 12 Iron Hill dwarves with Spear and Shield. This is the ballista sort of captain looking guy. I don't have my captain painted up yet, and so I am using him currently, leading 6 Iron Hill dwarves with Spear and Shield, plus the ballista and 4 crewmen there. This guy, I know he has a shield, but he's just going to be a basic crew because I took that guy out to be the captain. So we'll come back with showing you the board next. This here is the board that we are playing on. It is a cobblestone mat. I believe it is a fat mat. Yeah, it is a fat mat, cobblestone mat. So we got some terrain here from Ben Boomers. So these big castle walls here, there. The center tower there, which actually does light up, but I'm not turning it on right now. Actually, why not? Just to show off his work. I'll do it. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that nifty? And then that piece over there is also one of Boomer's pieces of work as well. So it's filling up the board. And so that is that. So the objective-wise, we do have one back there in that corner. I wouldn't say corner. It's just outside 6 inches from the board edge. One in the center of this watchtower. One over here. One right there, 6 inches from the side of the board. And one back here in this tower here, or beside that tower. So we'll come back with deployment next. This here is the roll-off for deployment and see what side the person picks. I got a 4 to the 6 on Mike's Blackfyre Productions guy. What side of the board are you going to set up on?
I'm going to start on the side that you like.
Alright, he is starting on that side over there. For the first deployment, Mike's first deployment I should say, he's going to be deploying Thranduil. So here's the roll, see where he sets up. And anywhere on his board half. Let's see where he goes with that. And Mike has set up Thranduil and his guys at the back corner there. We'll come back with my first deployment next. Dane here will be my first deployment with his 12 Iron Hill dwarves. so I have to set them up within 12 inches of the center of the board. And this here is Dane and his 12 Iron Hill Dwarves in that ruin there. They do have an objective behind them, and one up the side of the board there, as well as the center one there. We'll come back with Mike's next deployment. Airastor is going to be Mike's next deployment, so let's see where he goes. He rolls a 2. He has to set up within 12 inches of the center of the board. And Airastor has set up right behind that wall there, and right across from Thranduil. We'll come back with my last deployment. So my captain and his 6 Iron Hill Dwarves and the Ballista with 4 crew, they're going to be next, so here's the roll. I got a 4. I definitely wanted that roll there. We'll come back with my deployment there next. And here's the deployment for the captain and his 6 Iron Hill Dwarf warriors with spear and shield, and his ballista and 4 crew members there, set up right behind Dane and right within 3 inches of that objective. And Mike's last warband is Legolas and his 10 Mirkwood Rangers, and here's a roll. Let's see what he gets. He has to set up within 12 inches of the board. Center of the board. That's not probably where he wanted them to be. We'll come back after his deployment. And Mike's has set up his Mirkwood Rangers and Legolas on the back, very back 12 inches of the center of the board, or from the center of the board, I should say, right there. Airastor is right there, and Thranduil and them are over there. We'll come back with the first round priority roll next. Priority round 1. Got a 3.
Oh!
You got a 3. Let's re-roll that one. That doesn't work. I got a 4. You got a 2. All right, priority dwarves. End of the movement phase. Ballista obviously stayed stationary with his 4 crew. The captain, 6 guys moved up full, as well as the dwarves over here. And Dane just sort of parked himself in between the 2 groups of them. Thranduil, Palace Guards moved on up 6. And then Airastor, which you can't see right now, hiding behind that wall. He stayed stationary for some reason. And then Thranduil, there's 4 Mirkwood Rangers on the left side. They just sort of shimmied up to straighten up that line, and everybody else stayed stationary. We'll come back with shooting next. In the shoot phase, Legolas here, he is calling a heroic shoot, just so that way he can hopefully get his shots off prior to the ballista shooting, which obviously also has a heroic shoot that he gets for free. So it's my priority. Elves, we're saying the elves are the 4, 5, 6 for this game, and the dwarves are 1, 2, 3. So here's a roll to see who gets their heroic shot or shoot first. So it's a 5, so that means Legolas.
5.
So for the shooting this round, so we just were looking at who can actually target, because he only has 5 models that are actually in range to shoot the front 3 Iron Hill Dwarves there. So this one here will have it in the way for his target, and then these 4 will have a open clear view at the front 2 Iron Hill Dwarves. And so you might as well do the in the way first, see if it actually gets hit. It's going to be in Blackfyre Productions die, and the other 4 will be the green. So these 4 did move as well, so they need 4s. Where this one did not. So the Blackfyre dice needs 3, the greens need 4s. And the Blackfyre die was the only one that hits. So now it needs it in the way to see if it actually hits the person. So yeah, it hits with a 6. Now you need a 6x3 to wound them actually. That's a 1. So nothing. So we'll come back with the ballista shooting next. So the ballista here, it does have the ability to use volley fire, which that allows him to target enemy models that it can't see, but yet other members on his board or on his team can see. So these guys up here, such as Dane, does have line of sight all the way over to Legolas in that corner there. So I'm going to be targeting Legolas with the ballista shot. So I do need a 4 to hit him, and that is a 4.
Oh, nice. So
now I need to roll the chart. Let's see what happens. So if I roll a 1, it can either miss, or you can target one of my own models with it. That is within 3 inches of Legolas, which is nobody, so we just miss. Yeah. Where 2 to 5, you choose another model within 3 inches to be the target. Okay. And then a 6, it stays on Legolas. So here we go. And it's a 1. What? And I have no might to change that because my captain isn't part of the crew, so it just misses.
Double snake eyes.
Oh, that's not good. We'll come back with priority for round 2 next. Priority roll round 2. I got a 4 to the Blackfyre Productions 6. So, let's see what Mike does next. So at the end of the movement phase, Legolas and those 5 Mirkwood Rangers in the Arrestor move full, moving up the board. These 5 Mirkwood Rangers have moved only 3 inches to hopefully get a shot into that dwarven line over there. And Thranduil and his Palace Guard are moving up full as well to clash up against Dane and his army. So we'll come back with shooting next. So beginning of the shoot phase, my ballista does get his heroic shoot. Mike has decided not to counter with a heroic of his own with Legolas. So I am going to use the ballista on the Palace Guard right behind Thranduil there. I need 4s to hit. There's a 6.
Ooh, 6.
So I do hit. That does give me some sort of defense against the counter shooting from the Mirkwood Rangers. So let's see the deviation scatter roll. I get a 6. It hits who I want. That is excellent. So here's to see if the Palace Guard is wounded. He's defense 6 or defense 5 because he doesn't have a shield. And so I need 3s. I do kill the Palace Guard. First blood! Ooh. And then everybody within 2 inches of him also takes a strength 4 hit.
These 2 I think are fine.
Yeah, the 2 guys at the end would be fine.
Yeah, so
everybody else is knocked down and takes strength 2 hit. So we'll start with Thranduil. So strength 4 hit. I said 2, but I meant 2 inches strength 4 hit. So here's the roll against Thranduil. And so it's a 3, so nothing, but he is knocked prone. The guy to his left, I need 5. There it is there. He is dead. And then the shield guy to his left as well. 3, so nothing. And then the spear support behind. Yep. 3, nothing. And then the last spear support there. 1, nothing. But they are all knocked prone. And I do have my barrier protecting me. So we'll set up that marker next. So I did put a small die in front of the ballista, and that small die back there are the markers. It does protect the majority of my guys, so there's 4 guys at the end here that aren't within 3 inches of that line, because the line just sort of hits the edge of the second row or guys there, and then it's 3 inches out. And so we'll come back with Mike shooting next. So the front 2 Mirkwood Rangers here for Mike is going to be shooting into the front 2 Iron Hill Dwarves over there. So they have moved, I believe?
Yes,
they have moved, so they need 4s. So here's, just roll 2 dice for this one. And so there's a 6, so 1 hit. It does have a clear path to that dwarf on the left there. So roll to see if you wound. So you do need a 6x4. There's a 6. Don't roll a 4. Oh, that is 6! What is up with that 6? 3 6s! On that, they take out 1 of those Iron Hill Dwarves. Somehow the Elven shooting takes out 1 of those Iron Hill Dwarves. The remainder of these 3 Mirkwood Rangers are going to be shooting into that lone rear Iron Hills warrior there. He is defense 7, so he's hoping to capitalize on that and take another wound or another model off my team. So he has 1 hit, and so there's no in the ways. So let's see what happens. And that's a 1. Thank you. No more 6s. We'll come back with priority for round 3 next. Priority, turn 3. I rolled a 4, and Mike rolled a 1. Priority dwarves.
Silly elf guy.
End of the movement phase, I have decided to hold my army there at this point in time with Dane and the captain of the Iron Hill Dwarves. Of course, the ballista down here has not moved at all. Thranduil has stood up, as well as the other 3 Palace Guard that were knocked down and sort of have circled around him, as well as the 2 guys that were still standing came and swung up front just to give him some protection. All the way over there, you have the Mirkwood Rangers that are swinging around. They still can shoot over there, as well as you have a lone one over here. Looks like going for that objective. Beginning of the shoot phase, we both have our heroic shoots that we are going to call. So Legolas will be calling one, and then obviously the Ballista will be calling one as well. So the elves are 4, 5, 6, and the dwarves are 1, 2, 3. So let's see who gets it. Again, it's the dwarves, and that's really what he wanted, because now he can do some damage, hopefully. Shoot phase, seeing as how Legolas had his heroic shoot first, he's going to shoot. Everybody else will be shooting as well. Legolas is going to be targeting Dane, and instead of doing deadly shot, he's going to hope for using 3 of his shots instead of the 1 auto hit. And so here's the rolls. Oh no, we got 2 6s, that's good. But he does have 2 in the way, so the first one is the fence, or the wall that's there. Then there's a model in between as well that you can't really see. There he is down there. Then there's a model that's also intervening. So here's the shots in the ways. So 1 gets through and 1 does not. I should say 1 gets through and 1 doesn't. So then he needs to roll another 4+. There's a 4. So horse or rider. So 1, 2, 3. You got to roll. So 1 to 3, it's a horse or the mount. So it hits the mount. Now he needs a 6 to wound it. Oh. That's a 3. 1 shot got through, but did not wound either Mount or Dane. We'll come back with the rest of the shooting next. Next, these 4 Mirkwood Rangers here are all going to be shooting into my Iron Hills captain over there. The wall is in the way, so they will need a... they moved, right? So 4+?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, 4+. Yep. And then a 4+ for the in the way if they actually hit. So yes. Here's the roll. 3 hits. That's pretty good. Now, in the ways for the... wall there, and only 1 gets through, unfortunately. Let's see, so now he needs to get a 6.
Oh!
And unfortunately, no might can be used because it's not a hero. We'll come back with the rest of Mike's shooting next. These 5 here are just going to be shooting into the Iron Hill Warriors over there, hoping to take out a couple of the front ranks, but we'll see. So they've all moved, so 4s?
Yep, they all moved, yep.
So... I see 1 miss. Now they all have it in the way for the, again, the wall over there. So they need to get a 4+. 6. And they all make it. So now they need 6s by 4s. I hope this doesn't go good for him. What is this? There's a 6. Can he take out another Iron Hills Warrior? And there's a 6!
Double 6!
Ah, that's another Iron Hill Warrior taken out by... Mirkwood shooting. Ballista's time to fire. Come on, get some vengeance. He's shooting into that Palace Guard at the back there, needing 4s.
Oh!
Completely misses with a 1. A 1. We'll come back with priority for round whatever it is next. Here's the priority roll. Mike got a 5 and has priority, and I got a 4. So the movement phase has came and went. Thranduil charged into the Iron Hills captain there, followed up by a spear support behind him. This guy here with spear support also charged into the captain. Over here we have 1 Mirkwood Palace Guard, I should say, not Mirkwood, charged into that guy there, who then was countercharged by those 2 Iron Hills Warriors, and then you have another countercharge back here on that spear support. All these guys just sort of angled up off to the side. Your Restor moved up the board. All of the Mirkwood Rangers moved up half movement, and that guy has went and grabbed that objective over there. We'll come back with shooting phase next. So, beginning of the shoot phase, I am calling heroic shoot with the Ballista for free, obviously. I'm not sure. I'm obviously going to be using volley fire, because I have a dwarf over here that can target the center Mirkwood Ranger over there because they're not obstructed from him, so the Elven Cloak doesn't apply, which then allows him to target that Mirkwood Ranger, I think. I'm not 100% sure if that's how the ruling actually works, and if I'm doing it wrong, please leave a comment below it and let me know. So here's the roll to see if I hit that Mirkwood Ranger. It's a 3. So I do not hit that Mirkwood Ranger. And that is the end of the Dwarven shooting phase. Good. Legolas here is going to be shooting into the 2 front Mirkwood Iron Hill dwarves over there. So he's going to be doing 3 shots this round. 2 of them are going to be on the furthest left-hand guy, and then 1 shot will be on the guy on the inside. So he did move, so that 1 does hit. He needs 4s, so we can't even might up that 2 with his last remaining might. So it does hit with a 6, or sorry, it does do the initial wound with a 6, but now he needs a 4, followed up by a 4, I should say. And there's a 2, so Legolas does not take him out. So this Mirkwood Ranger here is going to be shooting at the kneeling Iron Hill dwarves beside the tree there. Does have 1 in the way if it does hit. It has moves, so needs a 4. That's a 4. So in the way, 4 plus. That's a 2. Nothing.
The 2s.
So this Mirkwood Ranger here is going to be shooting into the Iron Hill dwarf over there. That's at the front and on the very far side. It has no in the ways, clear shot, so it did move, needs a 4. There's a 6, and then needs 6s by 4s. There's a 5, nothing. The back Mirkwood Ranger here is doing the exact same shot. There's a 5, and there's a 4, so nothing. So he has 4 shots left. He has this guy here that doesn't have a shot or in the way shot at the guy on the very end. That's going to be the Blackfyre Productions die. And then the other 3, so this one here and these 2 here, are going to be shooting into the dwarves just to the left of the tree, and they will have it in the way for the stone fence. So let's see what happens. They all need 4s. And so far, he only has 2 hits, but 1 die fell on the floor, so let's see what happens there. So 3 hits. The one that doesn't have it in the way does go through, and the other 2 do need to make it in the way chest. Alright, so 1 goes through, 1 does not. So needing 6s by 4s on both these dice. And there's a 6. Let's see if it gets 4. No. So no dwarves die to elven shooting this turn. We will come back with combats next. So, beginning of the combat phase, no heroics are being called right now, or this round I should say. So we're going to start off with Dane versus Palace Guard with spear support, because I countercharged him. He was on the captain, but Dane's pulling him off. So we got to roll to see who gets the highest die. So you have 2 dice, 1 for spear support, 1 for the guy fighting regularly. Dane has 4, and Dane gets a 6, and he has a higher fight value. So he knocks the guy down and does 8 wounds, or 8 possible wounds to him. So there's a 5 and a 6, so that model is definitely dead. And removed from the board. Next combat, we have the captain versus Thranduil. Both have spear supporting, so you have 5 dice, fight 7 against my 3. So let's see if you get a 6, because that would automatically take it. You do. So I'm going to move back with the captain and put him into base contact with 2 guys. And then, so you need 6s by 4s.
And 5 again.
And 6s by 5s for that guy. So roll 1 die separately. So the Blackfyre Production needs 6s by 5s, and everything else needs 6s by 4s, because the captain's defense 9 right now. I do see a 6 from Thranduil. And then it's a 1. You could use all your might if you want, but I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it. And we'll come back next. Guys. Next combat is these 3. So 1, 2, 3 Iron Hill Dwarves up against that 1 Palace Guard. He is shielding, so see if you get a 6 on your 2 dice. You got a 5 highest. I need a 6 to win. And I got a 4 highest, so you do push me back. Last combat this round is that 1 Palace Guard versus 2. So, you fighting normally or shielding?
Yeah, he doesn't have a shield.
Alright, fighting normally. I got a 6! Alright. Let's see if I can get him. So I need 5s. There's a 5, and that takes out that Palace Guard there. Priority next round. I got a 5 to your 3. Thranduil here. He has called a heroic move at the beginning of this movement phase. I'm going to roll here with the for the tactical awareness of the Iron Hill Dwarf Captain. So on a 5+, I copy his heroic move. And I rolled a 2. So I do not copy it. But I will have the captain call a heroic move to counter it though instead. Okay? So here's a roll to see who gets the heroic move this phase, the captain or Thranduil. So 1 to 3 of the dwarves, 4, 5, 6. 5 goes to the elves. We'll see where Thranduil goes next. The end of the heroic move for Thranduil. He charged into Dane here to keep him from getting his charge bonus up against him. And then this Palace Guard here charged into that Iron Hills Captain. And we'll come back with the rest of the movement next. End of the movement phase. Ballista obviously stayed stationary. Over here we have a Captain and Spear Support up against 1 Palace Guard. 2 Iron Hill Dwarves up against 1 Palace Guard with Spear. 2 more against another guy with Spear. We had 2 Iron Hills over here charge into Thranduil. Obviously, Dane was charged by Thranduil himself. Then over here, we had these guys here setting up for the charge from Erestor, who only charged into the one side there. And then the Mirkwood Rangers are spreading out and scattering, probably anticipating eventually a ballista shot and holding that objective in the middle of that tower right there. So we will come back with shooting next. Legolas over there, he is going to call a heroic shoot. I do have a heroic shoot here with that, so on a 1 to 3, dwarves get it. There's a 3. I needed that. We'll come back with the shoot phase next. So the ballista is going to be targeting that Mirkwood Ranger right up against the wall there. It does, again, if I'm doing the rules wrong, please correct me. I do have models that have line of sight to it and can see it, so I should be able to volley fire it technically, but I need to hit it first on a 4+. There's a 5. Now on a 2+. Please. There's a 2, so Mike, you get to scatter that to 3 inches to another target. So Mike has left it on that Mirkwood Ranger there instead of actually scattering it. So I need to roll a 3+ to wound it. That's a 2. So somehow that Mirkwood Ranger is knocked prone, but it's still alive. And then the Mirkwood Ranger beside it is knocked down as well and takes a strength 4 hit. And it is killed. And then there's one last one over by the statue there, and it takes strength 4 hit, and it is killed as well. That's 2 Mirkwood Rangers down, and 1 knocked prone. Better yet, though, is the barrier that prevents any of his shooting this round. Right there. Over here, at the beginning of the combat phase, there is no shooting phase, I should say, because of that barrier from here to there. So you jump right into combat. So both Thranduil and Dane called a heroic strike, so we'll come back with that combat later. Also, at the beginning of the combat phase, Erestor here is using his might to call a heroic combat up against that 1 Iron Hills dwarf that also has spear support. So we have to do that one first. So you have 2 dice. Let's see if you roll higher than my roll. You set the bar at a 5. I need a 6 here to prevent him from killing the dwarf and moving on to another combat. I got a 3 highest. Alright, you need 6s, but he does have his blades that he's fighting with, so he gets to re-roll. There's a 6. He does kill off that dwarf and gets to move into another combat. Where are you moving him? Into that singular one. Well, let's just move into that one. I got 2 attacks versus your 2, so roll, see if you get a 6. You get a 2. I get 4. You have no might left, so your defense, I think, 6.
Forget.
I do get a 6, so that is a wound. You do have fate, so you can roll. No, you can use another one. Yes, 3 in total, so.
Oh,
no, that's a 1.
Snake.
And 1 more. And he does make it, so he still has his wounds left. Next combat, we have Dane, who has 3 attacks, versus Thranduil, who has 4, plus 1 from that guy there, so 5. Dane also has spear support and 2 other guys over there helping him, so he has 6. So we got to roll to see who has a higher fight value as well, because they both heroic struck. So I go up to 10, and you go up to 8. Oh, I need a 6 here. Give me a 6. I do get the 6, and Dane does win that combat. So, I need, on Dane's dice, because he's trapped, I'll roll this twice. He can't move back anywhere because everybody's in combat. So, this is Dane's attacks. I do need 4s because I'm strength 5 versus defense 6. So, there's 2 wounds up against Dane, or up against Thranduil.
I'll take Dane. But
Yeah. And then the other 3 also needs 5s, and so that's their 6 attacks. He gets trapped. I get no 5s from that roll. I get 4 highest. So Thranduil does have 2 wounds on him, so he does get to roll fate. So fail. Fail.
Oh man.
Roll a different die, maybe. And fail. So
Holy.
Thranduil takes 2 wounds and has 1 wound remaining after that combat. Also, at the end of the combat phase, on a 5+, Dane does knock down Thranduil. And there's a 5 right there. So Thranduil is prone. Next is the captain and spear support versus 1 palace guard, and he's going to shield. So let's see what you get. You do have a higher fight value at fight 6 right now, and he got 4 highest, and I got 4 highest with the captain. You're shielding, so I'm just going to let you take it. So then we'll go like that. Next, these 2 Iron Hill dwarves against that 1 palace guard. Are you going to? Oh, you don't have a shield, so
no, I don't have
fight normally. I got a 4. You got a 5. Can you? Actually, we're going to move them back this way, so they're still in base contact. Can you roll a 6 to actually win them? Nope, that's a 1. And then these last 2 versus that palace guard there, fighting normally. I got a 6 versus Mike's 2. And you're not trapped, so here's a roll. I do need 5s. There's a 6 and a 5. So that palace guard there is removed. Priority next round. I got a 5 to Mike's 4. So we'll come back next with my movement. End of the movement phase, this is what the board looks like. Dane has charged the prone Thranduil, supported by spear support. A captain has charged palace guard here, and then this palace guard was charged by 2 Iron Hill dwarves. Oh, and the captain has spear support with these 4. Hold them together with that shield wall and move it up the board, hopefully going towards that objective back there, but it looks like they might run into some elves. So those 4 elves at the back there have only moved half their movement, so they can still shoot. And then Legolas and those 2 Mirkwood Rangers have moved over half of their movement. Over here we have Erestor, who was swarmed by a total of 6 Iron Hill dwarves. Yep. And they didn't have to make the courage test because they are all within 12 inches of Dane. And then this guy over here, we thought we forgot about him, but he moved 3 inches. And he could potentially pick off a spear supporting dwarf right there. We'll come back with shooting next. Correction, that 1 Mirkwood Ranger closest to the stairs there, he only moved around the corner, so he did move half movement. So there's 5 Mirkwood Rangers there that moved half movement. Going into the shoot phase, heroic shoot with the ballista, I'm going to target that lone Mirkwood Ranger there. So I need a 4. There it is there. There's 4. So I need a 2. There's a 6. Direct hit. So let's see if I wound it. I don't wound it again. Somehow, that elf doesn't want to die from a ballista shot.
Twice.
But there is the marker that is put there, just in base contact with that model there. So it's the line, and nothing can shoot within 3 inches of it. This Mirkwood Ranger here, she's targeting, that Iron Hill dwarf there. So here's the roll. It did move, so it needs 4. And it's a 3, so nothing. Red Mirkwood Ranger here is going to be shooting into that spear support. He's just outside of the 3 inches of the line from the ballista. It has moved, so it needs 4s. And there's a 4. No in the way, so 6s. No, that's a 2.
There's the 2 again.
And that is the end of the Mirkwood shooting, because those guys can't shoot through their own allies and can't shoot through that line into those guys there. So we'll come back with combat next. Starting the combat phase, both Thranduil and Dane have called a heroic strike, and then we're just going to jump into this combat first, see what happens, because Erestor is trapped. Let's see if you get a 6 though. You got a 4 highest. All I need is a 5, because Erestor has no might. And I do get a 6 there, so he is trapped. I'll roll these twice. I do need to get, I think your defense 7 actually, so I need 6s. Double check that, but I think it's 6s. And I got 1 6. So roll this again. 2 6s.
Defense 7, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 6s, and you only have 1 fate left on him, correct?
Yes.
So
he has 2 wounds.
Yep. So you need to make a fate save because they have 2 wounds. you'll be taking 1 wound for sure, and you will be taking that second wound as well. And these dwarves killed off Erestor. Next combat here is going to be the captain and spear support against 1 palace guard. Are you going to shield or are you going to fight normally? I would probably shield.
Yeah.
And hope for a 6, because you have a higher fight value than I do right now. So let's see if you get a 6. And you get 2s. That's not good. I get 5 highest. You're not trapped, so these guys both need to get 5s to take you out. And there's a 5 and a 6 right there. So that palace guard is killed. These two here, fighting up against that spear support there. Let's see what he gets. He gets a 6 and wins automatically because he has a higher fight value at fight 6 when he's within 3 inches of Thranduil. Now he needs 6s by 4s to wound. Let's see if he gets another. Oh, I thought it was going to be a 6 there for a second. And next is going to be Dane versus Thranduil. We both have heroic structs. Let's see what Dane goes up, or Thranduil goes up to. He goes up to 9. I need to get something good. And I only go up to 6 or 8. You still have the higher fight value. See if you your 4 dice get into get a 6. You do get a 6, and you can't strike me, but you do get to stand up for free, and Dane is pushed back. End of the combat rounds, and this is what the board looks like. So let's roll off for priority for the next turn. I got a cocked 5, so let's re-roll that. I got a 1. You get it automatically. So, end of the movement phase. This is what the board looks like. Dane was charged by Thranduil after standing up. And Dane does have spear support, and that spear support was pulled off by those two. Captain and those guys are moving up the board. And the Mirkwood Rangers. What Mirkwood Rangers moved? The one just stood up, right?
Stood up and moved the 3.
Okay.
These guys moved 3.
And those guys moved not at all. And that one moved nothing. And
this one here.
Iron Hill Dwarves are moving up towards the board to control or contest that center objective, and that one there has moved around the building as well. We will come back with the shooting phase next. Starting with the ballista here. Ballista is going to be targeting the yellow. Actually, going to target the red, orange-haired one on the right. And so I need a 4 to hit. That's a 2. That's a nothing. We'll come back with the Mirkwood Rangers shooting next.
All 3 shots, too.
All 3 of those Mirkwood Rangers there are shooting at the Iron Hill Dwarf Captain, needing 4s because they moved. And so that's not a single one hitting. 1, 2, and 3. Nah,
these guys
not
are going
good.
to shoot at him too.
Oh, and then all 3 of those guys. Legolas with his 3 shots. And then the other 2 Mirkwood Rangers, all needing 3s. And so that's 1 hit out of all that bunch on a 6.
Wow.
That 6 here needs a 6 by 4. That's a 1, so nothing.
I'm just gonna.
We'll come back with combats next. Alright, these 2 Iron Hill Dwarves up against that 1 Palace Guard. Let's see if you get a 6. You get a 2. And I get a 6 there. You aren't trapped, but you do need 5s. There's a 5 there, which takes out that Palace Guard. It might not be on video, but myself and my opponent were discussing heroic strikes earlier, and Dane is calling a heroic strike here, so he goes up to 7 to tie Thranduil. Oh, that's terrible. You did call the snake eye. That's funny. All right, let's see if you what you set the bar at with 4 dice. Right. Roll away. You got a 6, so that's pretty strong. So here's Dane's 3 plus spear support. I got a 4 highest. So not only did I whiff on the heroic strike roll, I whiffed on that roll too. So if you push me back, you have 4 attacks.
I didn't know if you were going to use might or anything.
I have no might left, so yeah.
Oh, did you use it?
Yeah, I used it. All right, who are these going against? First off, you should, because you can strike the bowler or Dane.
I guess it would have been Dane, but
okay.
Yeah.
So you need 6s on Dane. So you got 1. So here's his first fate roll, and he makes it with a 4. Priority roll next round. I rolled a 2 against your 5. Priority goes to the elves. Look at those. Thranduil here needs to make a courage test because my opponent is broken this round with 10 casualties out of his 19. So he needs to roll 2 dice and add his courage and hopefully beat 10 or more. So that's a 2 and a 3, so 5 in total. Plus his courage of 6, so Thranduil is fine and can continue his movement. Right into Dane. I figured as much. So Legolas, he's not moving this around. He's going to be staying stationary, so he needs courage test. And he makes it with a roll of a 6. That means the 5 Mirkwood Rangers closest to him also succeed, but there's one all the way back there that's not moving as well. That needs to make a courage test. So they have courage 5, so you need to get 5 or higher. And that's a 7, so that Mirkwood Ranger over there is fine. And then you got 2 more. You got one over here. Is that one going to be moving at all?
No.
No? Okay. So it needs to make a courage test. And you're fine with a 7. And then this one over here on that objective. It makes it with a 6. I was hoping for another low number on that one die to make it go away, but it didn't. We'll come back with the Iron Hills movement next and the heroic march from the captain. The captain here has made a heroic march, so it's going to move an inch over and then up 7 to right here. And then these guys here are going to move up 8 as well, putting them within that area there of the objective. Boom, boom, like so. And these guys are right beside them. And this guy comes up as well. That's their go. We'll come back with the rest of the Iron Hills movement next. And in the movement phase, this is what the board looks like. So these 2 Palace or Iron Hill dwarves stayed still within controlling that objective there. Thranduil charged into Dane, who has spear support. All those guys heroic marched up to control that objective there. That guy stayed stationary. Those 3 back there stayed stationary. All my Iron Hill dwarves, except for these 2 on the end, charged into Legolas or supporting. And then these 2 charged into that Mirkwood elf over there. These guys over here made the courage test and stayed where they were. We'll come back with shooting next. Heroic shoot. The ballista here is going to be targeting that elf over there again. See if it actually can hit. It's hit that elf twice and hasn't been able to kill it. So that's a 1. So no, it can't.
Secretly, this
work harder. Work harder.
Secretly, this is.
So over here we have 2 Mirkwood Rangers, the one at the end and the one over there that's not in combat, shooting at my spear support on the in the Legolas combat. So they didn't move, so needing 3s, so 1 hit. So needing 6s by 4s. There's a 5, nothing. And then over here, the front 2 here are going to be shooting into the captain there. So needing 3s because they didn't move.
Can he not shoot as well?
Yeah, the front 2.
Oh, and then him as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I said 2. In the front 2. That's what I was referencing. But yes. So 3 shots. And so 2 hits, 6 and a 5. So needing that 6 again for a wound, hopefully. And so 1 and a 2. So nothing. We'll come back with combats next. Okay, starting here with Legolas. So Legolas has 2 dice versus my 5. So let's see if he gets a 6 on this roll. He gets a 2 highest. Here's my 5 dice. Hopefully I can beat that. There's a couple of 6s. He is trapped. So I need, he's defense 5, so I need 5s. And I'll roll this twice.
2.
So there's 2. He does have 3 fate though. So here's the second roll. And there's another 5. So he has 3 wounds up against him. He does have 3 fate, 2 wounds. So let's see what happens. Fate number 1. Makes it. That's 2 wounds remaining or left to use fate on. Fate number 2 makes it, and fate number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes all 3, and he's in fate, but does have 2 wounds left. These 2 Iron Hill dwarves versus that 1 Mirkwood Ranger. You get 1 die. What do you get? You get a 4, and I get a 4 in total. That's a win-win for the Mirkwood Ranger. He needs 6 by 4s to wound. Nothing. And Thranduil's combat. Let's see if he gets a 6. He does get a 6 and does push Dane back again. And then, like so. Okay. See who are you striking?
Sorry.
Okay.
It will be Dane every time.
Dane every time. So 6 is there.
It'll be every time. Dane.
Yeah. And no wounds. End of the round, this is what it looks like. We got some guys over there and over there. And the lonely guy over there. So let's go for priority next. I got a 2. You got a 4. You got priority. The Legolas here, he's going to be activating first. Needs a courage test. Yep. And he's good. And then he's going to move into what? Or who? Oh, into that guy there. Excellent.
Well, they don't have the double, right?
Yeah. We'll come back with the rest of the movements next. This lone Mirkwood Ranger is going to try to charge into the captain there, needing a courage test beforehand just to see if he survives.
Oh, he doesn't.
And he doesn't, so he flees the board. Uh-oh. Over here, courage test for this model. That's activating, holding the objective. And it's running as well.
Guys.
Oh no. That's not good. Leaving that objective open and losing you some points. Next one here. See if, see if he makes it.
Remember that 6 is not an actual
No, it's just marking where he can move to. Here's the roll. See what happens. And he makes it with an 8, so he can move up to where he marked. Thranduil here, before he moves, needs to make a courage test. Then he's good. And is he going to charge Dane?
Again?
Alright, charging Dane. Right like so. We'll come back with the rest of the movements. This is what the board looks like at the end of the round, or end of the movement phase. Dane's been charged by Thranduil. These guys are holding that objective. Those guys are holding those objectives. Captain's running over to help out in that melee over there. And that Mirkwood Ranger is hopefully going for that board all the way over there. No shooting this phase because Bliss can't target anybody, and everybody else except for one model who can't shoot at this point in time is in combat. So let's get right into the combat. Where do you want to start?
Might as well start with Thranduil, the biggest.
Alright, Thranduil, let's see if you get 6. Oh, you do! You get 3 6s and a 1!
Man.
What is this?
Oh, man.
Keep pushing me back an inch. That's okay. Alright, let's see if you're up against Dane, right?
Yeah, Dane again.
Alright, needing 6s. Nothing.
Oh, man.
So these two Iron Hill guards versus, or Iron Hill warriors versus the Mirkwood Ranger. See if you get a 6. Get a 5 highest. I need a 6 here to win. There it is.
6.
And now I need 4s to beat you down. There's a 5, and that Mirkwood Ranger is dead. Next, let's see if you get a 6.
Is it 2 dice, right?
2, yep. Yes, 2 attacks. You get a 4 highest. I'm fighting regularly, so I get a 3, so you do beat me back. And push me back an inch, so you need 6s. Yep, that works. And a 1 and a 6, and he gets that Iron Hill Dwarf right there.
These are both.
2 here, spear supporting, and regular fighting that Mirkwood Ranger. See if you get the 6. Get a 4. Come on, roll good. I get a 5. I do take it. Let's see if I can get a 4 to kill it, and I do right there. Another one bites the dust. 1-on-1 there. 1 Iron Hill Dwarf versus 1 Mirkwood Ranger. You get a 6 and take it. Let's see if you can get a 6 to kill him. And it's a 1. He gets pushed back an inch. Next one is going to be the 1-on-1 up here. Mirkwood Ranger versus 1 Iron Hill Dwarf. You get a 1.
Oh.
I get a 3 and take it. And needing a 4 to kill him. That's only a 3. Not enough. And he does get pushed back. Priority for the next round. I got a 3 to your 6. You need to stop winning priority and let me win one of
I was
these.
going to say, I just need...
Legless courage test, and he makes it with a 6. This guy here is courage test. See if he flees. Go ahead. Oh, he still makes it. I wanted him to run away. Boo. And he just moves up there towards that objective. Thranduil here needs courage test. See if he survives. And he gets a 3. He has courage 6, so he needs to use one of his will points to make it. So he has 2 will left, and he just charges in there. We'll come back with the rest of the movement next. No shooting, no shoots. No shooting this phase. We do have combats here, so what combat do you want to do first?
Let's start with Legolas.
Legolas versus 2. Okay, so let's see if you get a 6. You got a 3 and a 1. Come on, push him back. I got a 5 highest. So I do push him back an inch. And I need 5s to wound him. And he has no fate left.
2 wounds. Oh, wow.
And there's 2 wounds on Legolas right there. Double 6s. Legolas is slain by those 2 Iron Hill Dwarves. Mirkwood Ranger versus 2. He is in base contact with both, so he gets 2 attacks. And 4 highest. I got 6 highest. Let's see if I can get him. There's that 4 that was needed. And that Mirkwood Ranger is dead. Moving on to the next guy. I got 2 versus your 1. And you get a 2 highest. And I got 5 highest, needing a 4. There's a 6. And last but not least is the captain. So captain gets 2 dice. I got a 5 highest. And the captain kills that Mirkwood Ranger as well. That's not good. We got Dane plus spear support versus charging Thranduil. So let's see if Thranduil gets a 6. You do get a 6, and you do push me back. Are you charging Dane or attacking Dane again? Alright. And no 6s, so no wounds on Dane. That is not good. We are down to 25%. Well, Mike is down to 25% on the board with one Mirkwood Ranger over there and Thranduil over here. So the game does come to an end, so we'll come back with an after-action report next. Alright guys, you saw the battle between my Iron Hill Dwarves and Mike using the Mirkwood themed army with Thranduil. So what was your thoughts?
Too many snake eyes, man, but it was good. Too many snake eyes. It was fun.
At the end, dude, I definitely say your dice were losing out on some of their luck. So, but besides that, you know, you're just getting back into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and enjoying it then, obviously.
It's great.
Yeah. That's really good. What were your thoughts on using Mirkwood for the first time?
I want to pick some up for sure now.
You want to pick some up. If you had to choose, what would you say was like your most valuable sort of asset? The Rangers or Palace Guard, Thranduil, what?
I mean, we got the most out of the shots from the Mirkwood Rangers, but Thranduil did pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah, the last little bit with no might on Dane.
No might, and he was fighting quite well.
Yeah, you won, what, 5 combats in a row, I think?
Just couldn't get the wounds.
Yeah, you did 1 wound, I think, out of all of that, where Dane just kept on being pushed back an inch every round. So that Thranduil is a beast, even on foot. He's a beast. 4 wounds plus every model that's around him, he gets an extra wound. You know what I mean? So that's really good. Mirkwood Rangers, they're pretty effective, and even when they get into combat, they still have some hitting power because, again, they have a similar thing to Thranduil. If 2 models are in base contact, it gets an extra die for every model in base contact with it past the first. I really liked what the Ballista did in this matchup. Comparatively, like, you know, really at times, it was either like hot or cold. It either really hampered your shooting or it did nothing whatsoever. And when it actually hampered your shooting, it was really effective. So I like that.
Effective once you got that line of that line there, the 3-inch radius just ruined my shooting. Yeah, I think the big thing that you did is you sort of spread yourself thin, where I kept myself all together, and that allowed me to just sort of walk up and basically put all my entire force up against Thranduil and a few Palace Guards, and that's what allowed me to sort of slip into the back there and everything else. So, but Mike, thank you for coming down, dude, and having a game. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, ignite your hobby.